This week on Two Noobs, the UK has a plan to try and curb smoking, and the long-suffering and oppressed smokers have a lobbying group fighting for their rights. Sorry. Then, we are not looking forward to watching the upcoming Eagles-Chiefs game. You might be able to guess why, but some people have stupid opinions about it. Next, apparently a groundbreaking new theory on what killed the dinosaurs. It sounds a lot like the old theory. Finally, we get in on the trend of recasting popular movies. Don't tell me I can't put Arnold into everything. Start the music now! We are here for episode 163. That's right, 163 of these things. So keep your gratified eating to yourself.
Sorry about that.
But why don't you show the folks what you are eating?
For all you LA nutcases out there, I'm proudly having a full-on bagel. I'm not scooping anything out of there. I'm telling you that right now, and it's fantastic, by the way. It's very good.
Excellent. Well, I don't know which way to actually look at you. We are minus a noob today.
Yeah.
We are two noobs talking today. It's just on the whatever side you want to call it, magnesium sulfate Matt Craig.
There you go.
And I, not in the middle, am sterile Steve Murray. And like I said, we are the two noobs talking. Matt is enjoying a full-on bagel. I hope you don't mind. I was feeling rather peckish myself.
Oh, there you go.
So I brought a lunch with me, if you don't mind.
No.
Here I have my scooped sandwich.
I guess this is the first time we're ever actually eating on the podcast together. How about that, Steve?
Probably, yeah, I would say. So, scooped sandwich, very bland.
Do you have any
also
peanut butter and jelly on the table? Like you were going to do that or not?
No, I that was too gross. I also have some scooped apple slices.
Oh, look at that! Oh, very nice. Yeah, there you go. I still can't get over that entire thing with the scoop bagels. That has stuck with me the entire week since you said it. And it's like, I almost was half tempted to talk to the people at Spread Bagelery and say, have you ever had a request like that? But I will say this, Steve, it was packed. There had to have been at least 30 people waiting to get these bagels. It was crazy. Absolutely insane. And everything. But yeah.
You should have asked. I'm kind of disappointed you didn't.
I am. I'm kind of disappointed in myself, to be perfectly honest. That kind of
all right. Well,
anyway.
Now that I've had my scooped apple slices, I'm going to show you. For dessert, I brought a scooped Reese's cup, mini Reese's cup.
How on earth did you do that?
It was quite the surgery, I will admit that.
Yeah. Gotta get that done. Oh my gosh.
Not a hint of peanut butter in there. Amazing.
Yeah. What a shock. We're saying a quick shout out to John Tracy, who is now currently moving from Houston. Or no, he was in San Marcos down to Houston. Now we found out he's going to North Carolina.
That's the rumor.
So who knows? He might go to Canada for all we know next week. So I don't know what's going on with him. Yeah, that would be something.
Yeah, right. Well, Mr. John Tracy, I don't have a nickname for you this week because you're not here. But we do miss you and hope you come back. It's just me and Matt eating. It's going to be the whole show.
Yeah, and by the way, since we're doing this remotely today, Steve came down with a little bit of a cold. Otherwise
HIPAA.
Sorry.
What the hell, man?
COVID. Sorry.
I did not come down. Well, I don't know if I came down with COVID or not. I don't know. I was ill. I'll just say that.
But out of abundance of caution, Matt decided to stay home. So there you go.
Because he's a big pussy. That's what,
Yeah, I guess so, but I'm not going to get sick. What do you want from me?
I hear you. I don't know what it was. I didn't, it had me bedridden for a day, but it wasn't too bad. foggy. So,
Ugh.
but it cleared up after a day. Now I just have the nasally after effects. So if I
Yes.
sound like I've got a gallon of snot up my nose, I just might.
Just go like this. Like that.
blowing snot
Gonna
rockets
come
on YouTube.
right on out of
There we
there.
go. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So,
it's
well,
John's
here
not
we
here,
are.
and John's not here, and we're blowing mucus. What are you gonna
Well,
do?
why not? Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of mucus, actually, no, not speaking of
No,
mucus.
still no.
I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna go. We do have our fun fact and over 40 segments today, brought to you by W Energy Drinks. Visit w.gg. It's DUBBY.gg. Give them the promo code Two Noobs Talking. That's TOO, even though it's just two of us today.
Yeah.
Still TOO, Noobs Talking, and get 10% off your order.
Yeah.
Matt will personally deliver it to your home with a bagel and a smile. Not me, because you don't want my mucus on it.
No,
so,
no, absolutely not. Yeah.
So I will start with the fun fact.
There you go.
And this is something I knew kind of in the back of my head, but I didn't remember the full story. But I was glad I looked up fun fact, just fun facts, Google. And this was one of the ones that came up. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going with it, even though we were just eating, and it's going to make you lose your lunch a little bit. Oh. But so a chicken, I'm going to do my best to do this as a John.
Okay.
A chicken once lived for 18 months without a head.
Huh?
So Mike the chicken, his name was Mike, which is
Mike?
rather unimaginative for a headless. Yeah, unimaginative for a headless chicken. But he had the incredible feat of living for 18 months back in the 1940s.
Wow.
He survived because after his head was severed, his jugular vein and most of his brainstem were left mostly intact. So he had just enough brain function to survive.
Oh my gosh.
In the majority of cases, a headless chicken dies in a matter of minutes, but he had enough brain left to live on. I think if I recall the story correctly, they were feeding him through his neck hole.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, that's
super gross.
Yeah, wow. I don't even know what to even say in regards to that anymore. That's unbelievable.
He's like the Chuck Norris of chickens.
Yeah. You can't kill him, and it's like whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, I guess, right, Steve? I mean, that old adage, that kind of a deal.
Absolutely. Yeah, the joke I heard the other day was Chuck Norris died 5 days ago, but death was just afraid to tell him.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah, this is something we should have done for Halloween, but
yeah. Well,
is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right, moving on from headless chickens. You have the over 40, and it's not a rant apparently. So once again, I'm gonna have to smack you.
Yeah, I mean,
rants.
Yeah, it's not really a rant. I mean, today, as we're recording this, is Veterans Day. So that's one thing. There you go, wearing the USA colors. So, I mean, we should be all thankful for veterans that allow us to do what we are currently doing right now on Two Noobs, that is expressing our own opinion here on this podcast. And, for those that have served our country and are currently still living, we thank you for your service, and God bless you for sure. But the second half, Steve, I have to be really thankful for Zuby. Zuby the rapper. He is fantastic. If you ever get a chance to follow him on Twitter, it's at Zuby Music for his Twitter handle. But he had one of the better ones, and he always has been so good. He's been kind of frequently mentioned on the podcast way back in the original when I was doing it with John back and forth. We went through like a whole listing. He had like a whole 21 listings or 21 different facts and opinions that we all thought was brilliant. I'll have to look up to see if I can try and find when that episode was and post. But
good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. But he said this recently, quote, "The most annoying thing about the modern West is that stuff here is actually really good and incredible progress has been made over the past century. But now there are a bunch of dorks and degenerates hellbent on ruining it. If I can get that out without my dentures falling. And they are accommodated instead of laughed at. So another absolute brilliant take. I could not agree with him more on that. I'm sure John would be like, Can
I ask a question? Is Zuby over 40?
That's a really good question. I don't know.
Because if he is,
would that be a
rant? That could qualify as an over 40 rant, I would say.
Could probably look that up, maybe. Yeah, let's see what we can do there. But yeah, I just thought it was brilliant. I could not agree with it more. We are being run by a bunch of dorks right now. So as far as the dorks are concerned, get out. You know, when you scoop your bagels, you're a dork. Get out. You know, that kind of a deal. So totally agree. Totally agree.
Full agreement with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably use a stronger word than dorks, but
dorks are still a good name, though. I mean,
the discourse in this country is quite bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, but it is run by a bunch of dorks, so there you go.
Absolutely. Governance is poor.
Yeah.
And we just continue to elect dumb idiots. But I'm starting to think this is because smart people don't run.
Yeah. We might have to get to the point of bribing them to run. Maybe that might be it. Just raise enough money to get them to come in and, actually do work in Congress. Right. Who knows? So you could send money to my father, and he'll go and try and. He's not going to do that.
Oh, was that the result of our plea to him a few weeks ago? He's got to be bribed to do it?
Maybe, possibly, but I don't think he would even accept a bribe. I think that would be a little bit of an issue with him there with his integrity. So that would be a bit of an issue. Yeah.
Well, it's a catch-22. You got to bribe the smart to run, but they won't take a bribe. So
they won't take a bribe. Yeah.
I am glad you've mentioned that we are here recording on Veterans Day, because I will mention I did have the pleasure this afternoon, prior to my son's second hockey game of the day, being able to introduce the sister of the team's captain.
Look at that.
Who proudly served in the Navy for 4 years.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So she was a veteran, and she did our ceremonial puck drop for
Look at that.
Day, which was fantastic. And I had the great duty to introduce her over the loudspeaker, and very, very nice event, and so glad she could make it for her brother, and all went very well. So thank you. She had I asked her for the introduction what her rank was.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the Navy doesn't use normal words like Army, like private first class, or lieutenant something, or it was a bunch of letters and numbers put together. I'm like, okay, the Navy's got to get on getting better, ranking names.
Yeah, to be fair, they are a little weird.
But
I wouldn't call them dorks, but they are weird. That's for sure.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be cured under the Biden administration.
No,
they got to work on the naming conventions there in the Navy.
Yeah, 100%.
But very, very, very nice lady, and so thankful for her service.
There you go.
And thank you again to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so now we will move on to the United Kingdom for topic 1, because that's what we do here on Two Noobs. We just throw curveballs at you.
There you go.
Here on Veterans Day, sitting in my Team USA John LeClaire sweater.
Go. I love it.
We have an independent article. UK smoking ban. How will it work? And who will be affected? Well, what the hell are they talking about? Well, King Charles, still sounds weird to me.
Yeah.
Has reiterated Rishi Sunak's plan for a UK smoking ban by raising the legal smoking age by 1 year every year, meaning a 14-year-old today will never legally be able to buy a cigarette. In his first state opening of Parliament as monarch, King Charles said the legislation will create a smoke-free generation. The PM also pledged to crack down on the sale of disposable vapes to children, saying more must be done to restrict their availability to under 18s. Mr. Sunak said in his speech, 4 in 5 smokers have started by the time they're 20.
Wow.
Later, the vast majority try to quit, but many fail because they're addicted and they wish they had never taken up the habit in the first place.
Yeah.
If we could break that cycle, If we could stop the start, then we would be on our way to ending the biggest cause of preventable death and disease in our country.
Mm-hmm.
The legal age for buying cigarettes and other tobacco products across the UK is 18, having been raised from 16 in 2007 by the last Labour government. Way to catch up to the 80s UK. In July 2007, it also became illegal to smoke in any pub, restaurant, nightclub, and most workplaces and work vehicles anywhere in the UK. Currently, you must be 18 or older to buy and use a vape in the UK. There are no nationwide legal restrictions or laws enforced on vaping in public areas at present, and the use of them indoors is generally permitted unless an establishment has specifically imposed a ban. Yay or nay on this plan for you, Mr. Craig?
Boy, that's a good question. Yeah, because the libertarian streak in me wants to say, well, who's the government to impose this ban upon others, right? I mean, that's the thing. It's up to freedom of choice and whatnot. And if Johnny were here, we talked about it with him on pre-production. He was pretty much all in favor of this. Having been an ex-smoker for him, he absolutely loved it. And it's like, I think he even said to me that it takes like at least 3 or 4 years just for all of that nicotine and tobacco just to leave your lungs. And then it's like you just have to retrain your lungs how to breathe again. That's how bad smoking can do it. And if you're like a chain smoker, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine it.
Oof.
I've never smoked in my life, never had the temptation to do it, never want to do it. Imposing a ban like this, I would say yay for this. I would say it's like if you're going to start somewhere and you're going to start with the youth and you're basically saying we have these studies that are showing, that if this person doesn't smoke for a particular length of time, all for it, So I would say, it would be something, it's a hit on the tobacco industry, no question about it. But really, we're not talking about the 1920s either, that kind of a deal. It's like the establishments that are out there right now do not allow smoking anywhere within their facility. You have to go outside of the building in order to have a cigarette. Yep. You cannot smoke inside, which I'm all in favor. I remember when there were smoking rooms in restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? I mean, that was way back in the day. Yeah.
It was totally ridiculous because it's smoking section, non-smoking section, and it wasn't like there was a big wall dividing it. Yeah, it was just open air, right?
Yeah.
It was just open air, come floating through.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I'm it's like, I feel like that old Seinfeld episode where Kramer gets flicked outside and he's just sitting outside with all the smokers. Jerry, they're not going to let themselves be flicked into the ash pit of society. But I mean, I guess the hesitation that I have would be the ban itself by government. That's my libertarian streak. It's kind of like people have free will to do what they want. Tobacco, though, not exactly helping your lung system and your cardiovascular. I think it's pretty much like okay, well, don't do it. But for some people, they do it. So it's kind of like, well, okay, well, then why would you do it? That kind of a deal. So I guess I'm kind of in favor of this, but I just don't like the government going out there and kind of saying, okay, well, we're going to ban this from everybody. My personal thought on that.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that position. My hesitation about it is, what is it really going to do? Frankly, it's illegal to smoke underage as it is, and yet so many teenagers do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the right answer is. I'd like to think I've instilled in my kids that it's a stupid, incredibly dumb, ridiculous thing to do. And my son has asthma, so he's got extra incentive not to.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to help your lungs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I would hope that I've raised them enough to be smart and make the right decisions. But there's a lot of teenagers out there who do it anyway, despite the law that you can't. And so I worry that the government here in the UK is just kidding themselves into thinking, well, if we raise it every year, and so that generation will never smoke. Well, I mean, are they?
I mean, it's a worthy goal, but to your point, people are going to be kind of curious as to like, well, why is this happening? And there's the tendency to want to always try and break something that is set that's saying, don't do this, that kind of a deal. So,
yeah, I think there has to be, a concerted effort. And I think there's been strides made, like Hollywood just glamorized it too much. Back
oh
in
my
the
gosh.
day.
Yeah.
I'll give you
Gone
two
with the
funny,
Wind, Casablanca. Shall we take a look at those two movies?
I'll
right?
give you two funny. I'll give you two funny ones.
Yeah.
One, there's a movie from Germany. It was in it was like 1931. It's called M. Starring Peter Lorre. And there's a scene in a police station where a bunch of cops sitting around at desks. They're all smoking.
Yeah.
And there is a literal layer of smoke covering the first like 2 feet of the floor. So there's a wide shot, guys sitting at desks. You can see like from the floor up, and it's just a layer of smoke,
this haze of smoke on the floor. Oh,
and then the second funniest thing I think I've ever seen is, and it's probably just because the time we were raised, right?
Yeah.
Just hospitals, you don't smoke.
Oh yeah.
So there's a scene in The Exorcist where Reagan is getting an MRI or whatever the procedure was to look at her brain. And the doctor comes out of the MRI room and is still in the hospital and talks to the mother. And first thing he does, it's like, dude.
But I think over there.
I think though, and there were, back at the Looney Tunes, there was smoking cigars and stuff. I think Hollywood has done a better job recently of kind of trying to remove that from kind of the popularity.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be part of it to help.
Yeah.
The legal stuff, I really don't know how much that's going to assist. That's what bugs me about it. I just don't know that it's going to be that much of an incentive. We joked in pre-production that this kind of sounded like when the NHL started requiring helmets. It was basically anyone who came into the league after the rule was instituted
for sure
had to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
But anyone who previously was in the league who was not wearing one could continue not to wear one until Craig McTavish was the last one not wearing a helmet.
Yeah. Play for the Flyers too.
He did play for the Flyers. It was a very bizarre scene.
It really was. Yeah.
So it reminded me kind of that, but the more I thought about it, it was like, well, except the NHL, you have a very limited number of players and it's easy to be like, put your helmet on.
Yeah.
You're on TV.
Yeah.
It's you can't get away with it. Whereas keeping young kids from smoking is a lot harder because they're not always in sight. You can't always keep a hand on them. But
and I think also to your point too, Steve, I think with the NHL, it's a great segue because I think the people would probably think, well, okay, well, if the NHL's doing it, why not smoking? Well, for one thing, you don't have a puck coming at you 100 miles an hour when you're smoking. That's another thing. And I think the idea of added safety within the NHL is huge in that regard because then you have the helmets, they get better. Then you have your visors. I guess my question then at that end would be, and this is just a hypothetical question, is when do we go all full face shield? And that kind of a deal, in case someone breaks their jaw and loses all their teeth in one shot.
Has happened.
Which has happened. So
I think the next thing is going to be neck guards, frankly.
I think so too. Yeah, after Adam Thompson's untimely death. Absolutely. Yeah.
Which isn't the worst thing in the world, but that's probably coming.
Yeah. I just one other thing with regards to smoking. I can remember when I was working in the Netherlands, my boss basically wrapped her own cigarettes. So she would basically take like a piece of paper and would have like tobacco leaves like on one side of her purse. And so she would be able to put in as many tobacco leaves as she wanted, roll it up and then light up. It's like, can you even imagine doing that? Like you can't do that obviously in America.
Right.
But the very fact that that could be done, in the Netherlands and any other European country, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting, but yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe this will work. Then again, maybe it won't. It's just a matter of like, how do you balance this, and that kind of a deal. And I think teaching people about how harmful it is to your health is probably the biggest and most important news that you can get out, in that regard.
I think that's the the main way it has to go. Now, to put the ridiculous spin on this.
Yeah.
So Matt and I wouldn't say we're opponents of this rule. We are skeptical, we are hesitant, but we're not. I wouldn't say we're in complete opposition. However, there is some opposition.
Oh boy.
The Smokers' Rights Group.
Because of course everything has to be a group, right?
Right. Their name, Freedom Organization for the Right to Enjoy Smoking Tobacco.
Or Forest.
Or douchebags. So they say, they say the measures are desperate and a creeping prohibition on smoking. These are desperate measures by a desperate prime minister, Director Simon Clark said. Raising the age of sale of tobacco is creeping prohibition, but it won't stop young people smoking because prohibition doesn't work. Anyone who wants to smoke will buy tobacco abroad or from illicit sources, which, it's the same argument I made, but I wasn't part of a smokers' rights group.
Exactly, right?
He added, this is a conservative government in name only because the prime minister is just taking a wrecking ball to the principles of choice and personal responsibility. Okay,
blah, 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 blah,
that's to your libertarian viewpoint there.
Yeah.
One thing that gets lost in all this, I think, is that smoking not only affects you, but it also affects others around you.
Yeah, you think? Yeah.
Secondhand smoke, taking that in, that's been proven to cause problems. Also, you smell.
Yeah.
I mean, you smoke, you stink. Okay.
Yeah. Just what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right.
and John will admit he stank.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Former Prime Minister Liz Truss, though, said she will vote against the measure for the highly intellectual point that conservatives need to, quote, stop banning things.
Oh my. Yeah, wow. That's deep. Very profound. Very profound. Yeah. Give me a break with that. Good Lord.
So we'll see where this goes in the UK. Hopefully it helps to some degree and gets the smoking levels down. But I think for all the reasons we've said, we're skeptical.
All comes down to the family, right? If you set the boundaries within the family, and with love and compassion, all good to go in that regard.
One would hope. Sorry, I think my scooped sandwich is coming back. It's from all the bullshit.
Well, I'm sorry, LA. You've lost your damn mind. Like I said last week, you've lost your damn mind. I mean, that's just. It's still to this day, Steve. I don't get it. Why would you scoop your damn bagels? It's crazy.
Well, do you still have any of that left?
I still have like about a quarter of it left.
You should scoop some of it and see how it goes.
I'm not going to do that. Although I am tempted.
No, should you?
I
don't do it. Don't do it.
I mean, it would take a lot. Look. I mean, you're looking at the thickness of this thing, right? You're taking a look at it right there.
Yeah.
You got to get all of this out of there just to get just the shell of the bagel. That is such a pain in the ass to be able to do. Like, how would you do that? Would you have to get in there with I guess you have to get in there with a knife and.
I'm picturing some big dude in the back going, what the fuck is this shit? with his fat fingers just ripping the bread out.
It's like, I just baked this in.
Right.
It's like, I'll show him and put a little booger in there, Oh my gosh, I'm chucking right now. Okay, we're good.
Oh, we're just equating scooped bagels with headless chickens and mucus right now. That's
unbelievable.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Unbelievable.
All right. Well, we're going to get to some not so fun here.
Oh, I'm going to sit down for this in case you don't know.
You're going to sit. All right. Let me sit down.
Sit down for this. Yeah.
I'm already sitting down. Sorry. I can't sit. Maybe if I squeeze my ass.
Get in there. Yeah.
Well, we have a Huffington Post opinion piece for this, which will kick us off. But the discussion goes beyond it.
Yeah.
We have a problem. See, the Eagles and the Chiefs are playing in, let's see, By the time this episode comes out, it'll be, what, 5 days?
Yeah, about 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football, right?
Yep.
Arrowhead Stadium.
Eagles
should be
Chefs.
a nice Eagles Chefs. Should be a good Super Bowl rematch.
Yep.
Eagles flying high, 8-1.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs, what are they, 7-2?
I think they're 7-2. Yeah.
Also coming off a bye, so it's all kind of even, which is actually kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Yeah.
Good way to do it.
Mm.
But, goddamn Travis Kelce.
What did you do, man? Seriously, what did you do?
What have you started?
And what have you done? Right?
All right. So what we placed a wager in pre-production for the over/under on how many times Taylor Swift would be shown during the Eagles-Chiefs Monday Night Football game. My concern was that the Eagles tend to have a weak spot covering tight ends. And so I predicted Travis Kelce having anywhere between 10 and 12 receptions in the game.
Yeah.
Which, every time he makes a catch, they're probably going to go to Taylor Swift in the box during the game. So that's minimum 10 to 12.
Ugh.
We figured probably along the way, I think I set my line at 18. And you said you would take the over.
I would take the over. Yeah. Not by much, but by over. Yeah. I would take the over.
So for those Two Noobs followers who have no idea what the flip we're talking about.
Thank God. Consider yourself very lucky right now.
I would totally agree with that. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, and I don't even know how this started, reached out somehow to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Who everyone
I love you.
Proclaimed his love for Taylor Swift, and now they are quote unquote dating. I still don't get the dynamic.
Business relationship, Steve. Business relationship. Yeah.
Dating for business.
Yeah.
And ever since then, Taylor Swift has been a fixture in the luxury boxes for many of the Chiefs games.
You mean she's not in the lower bowl? I'm shocked.
She's not a man of the people like John.
I guess.
So we have to put up with this nonsense as NFL fans, and I have not watched the game because I don't watch anything but Eagles games, basically.
Yeah.
So I haven't had to deal with it that much, other than seeing it on TV to show that she was being shown in a game, and it's just
Yeah.
But now, as the Eagles are playing, we're going to be subjected to this, and so I don't even know if I'm going to watch the game. But obviously, there's lots of opinions flying around, and this particular Huffington Post opinion caught our attention because here we go with somebody playing the race card on us.
Yeah.
Which, it's people like this who make dealing with racism difficult.
Zuby's quote at the top of the podcast, dorks, this guy fits the bill.
Well, you had to know we were dealing with somebody who doesn't really know what they're talking about when he said, his opening line of the opinion said, the 2023 Super Bowl champions Kansas City Chiefs lost to the lowly Denver Broncos 9-24. Who writes a score backwards?
9-24. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah.
Well, okay, so his point was...
He has a point? Go on.
Allegedly. We lawyers love that term. Allegedly, his point was that the NFL is seizing on this opportunity because they want to be more white.
Wow.
Okay. So I'll quote this here. He says, nearly 70% of players in the NFL are black. About 45% of the NFL's most avid fans are Latino, and about 42% are black, respectively, compared to 37% white. So if the NFL is an overwhelmingly black sport supported by blacks and Latinos, then why does the NFL keep trying to push Taylor Swift down our collective throats? I mean, it's safe to say we aren't her demographic. Swift's devout following is largely white, suburban, and millennial. Morning Consult, a marketing research company, actually did a deep dive on the cult-like following and found that Swifties, can we do away with that term?
Oh my God,
Are,
yes, please.
are 74% white, 52% are women, 45% are millennials, and 53% of those surveyed identify as living in the suburbs. Doesn't sound like the NFL that exists, but sounds a lot like the football league the NFL wishes it could be. And here he goes on to say, oh, the owners are all old, cranky white men.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah.
No black coaches, blah, blah, blah. Which he has a point in that Roger Goodell is racist. I mean, John knows that.
Well, yeah, of course.
He proclaims that all the time, which, is...
well, not too far wrong, in that regard.
Right. But this seems to be a little bit of a stretch here, Matt, does it not?
Yeah, 100% it's a stretch. The problems with the NFL go far beyond what this Huffington Post writer really kind of writes about. Really the problems with the NFL are their product. Plain and simple. Their product is not watchable right now, and it's not watchable because every other play, a referee comes on the field and talks about how someone, whatever side, screwed up. And then you go to a replay, and they didn't screw up. It was an actual football play.
Right.
And so that's the problem.
He's got a penalty because his asshole wasn't on 2 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Oh, this guy tackled a quarterback. We're going to give him a 15-yard penalty for tackling a quarterback from behind.
Right.
Well, okay, that's great and all, but you're just completely unwatchable at this point. And it's amazing. There's this. I'll have to maybe link this up in the upper right corner. A channel that it basically is tracking all of the most controversial NFL, penalties that are being called.
All of them.
All of them. Like, he'll go to every single game and just pour through. There were a number of them in the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles game.
Both ways too.
Both ways, yeah. I mean, and plays that weren't called that should have been called. Like, one guy was lined up in the neutral zone, wasn't called. It was a Dallas Cowboy at least 3 times, had his hand directly in the neutral zone of the football, and it wasn't called. So, I mean, that's the problem with the NFL. It has nothing whatsoever to do with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has been brought in primarily for marketing purposes and for making money. That's what the NFL does, is to make money.
It's a cash grab.
It's a cash grab, 100%. And if you could get a new group of women that don't know what football is, the NFL is going to invest in that heavily. Just wait until that relationship breaks up. Travis, you don't know what you've gotten yourself into there, pal. I'm telling you right now.
There's going to be a number of Travis Kelce jerseys on the street getting bulldozed or steamrolled. They're going to run.
Imagine the Swifties all burning their Travis Kelce jerseys if they break up.
Oh, it's going to be.
It's not going to be good. It ain't going to be good. You got to see this through, Travis. You have no idea what you got yourself into. I'll tell you right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, Steve, I don't know about you, but the number one reason that I do not watch the NFL is their product. Period. It is unwatchable, from the play calling to the penalty calling, whatever the case may be, to the scripted calls that happen or the scripts that happen at the end of the year. I don't know what else to say. It has absolutely zero to do with this Huffington piece or Huffington Post piece at all. I don't really care what skin color is involved in watching football. That has nothing to do with it. I was a hardcore NFL guy, and they slowly lost me over the years because they kept changing the rules. They kept changing pass interference. They kept changing legal contact, and the defense can't hit the quarterback anymore, even tackling him from behind. They have to call it. And it's like, well, then when are we going to get flags? When are we going to get flag football? Because it's going to be the NFFL going forward.
Right.
That kind of a deal. I tribe over, but yeah, well, that's the reason why they've lost me. So,
well, I want to make this clear to this buffoon. The reason why the NFL is capitalizing and shoving Taylor Swift down your throat is exactly as Matt said. It's a cash grab.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity. All the hardcore people already have their Travis Kelce jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
All the hardcore people are still buying tickets.
Mm-hmm.
You are talking about a singer who I despise, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Likewise.
You're talking about a singer who has the gall to charge $1,000 a seat for her concert tickets.
We looked that up.
You have oh yeah.
Yeah.
You have people who will shell out that kind of money for her tickets. You get them invested in an NFL football game.
Yeah.
That money is now being diverted to your product.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're going to be buying Travis Kelce jerseys. They're going to be buying tickets to games. They are adding to the NFL viewership. And the more viewers you have, the more advertisers want to spend to get in and get a piece of that viewership.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is totally about grabbing a market that they had no chance of landing previously.
Yeah.
And now there's the opportunity.
Yeah.
This woman makes $1 billion a year.
The concert tickets alone.
Yeah. And the following she has.
Yeah.
You are tapping into that, which you had no chance of before.
No chance.
With your product.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. So to what extent they egged Travis on into this? Let's talk about scripted, that they pushed him into this.
Exactly.
I can see somebody in a room going, if we had one of our players date Taylor Swift, we could really get some new followers.
Just to give you an idea, we should probably maybe I'll do a screenshot of this too and pop this up on screen. I just looked it up here on SeatGeek. For a concert that Taylor Swift is going to do in October of 2024 at Miami Gardens, Florida, in row 24. Okay, so this is in the upper deck, maybe about five rows.
Oh my God.
5 rows down from nosebleeds. So you're basically at the top of the building, you're going 5 rows down. $2,043 each ticket. So if you have a party of 4, $8,000 that woman is pulling in from a group of 4 people. That's insane, Steve. That is just insane. That's in Miami Gardens, Florida. That's in Florida down there. And I mean, if the NFL is, the NFL is like, they're not dummies. They're going to take that money and run with it, right? I mean, they're going to make sure they're going to milk that cow as much as they possibly can. Unfortunately, what the product that they've got, it is very easy to kind of say, I can walk away from this in about a year.
True.
Unless things change. And I mean, I just do not see it happen.
But here's the thing. Why is Taylor Swift being shoved down our throats? Well, because they can get those Swiftie fans who are only going to be interested as long as she's there. Right?
Yeah.
You're going to piss off the hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Are you going to piss them off enough that they're going to walk away because of that? I'm going to say probably not.
Yeah. I would agree.
If you're a hardcore NFL fan, you're going to keep watching.
Yeah.
Even if whenever you have to watch the Chiefs, you're going to have to see Taylor Swift 20 times.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's just the reality of how it works.
Yeah.
And race has absolutely nothing to do with it. It's purely coincidental.
Yeah.
I gave you the example of this. If Travis Kelce or whoever was dating Beyonce, you would have the exact same reaction.
Yeah, 100%.
Exact same.
Yeah.
The downside is Beyonce's married to Jay-Z, so you're not going to have an NFL player dating Beyonce. So that opportunity is going to pass you by. It's got absolutely nothing to do with race.
Yeah.
And he to try to support this point, as I figured he would. He tries to give some some examples of other people who aren't shown as much on the TV screen. He mentions Russell Wilson is married to Ciara. Yeah, does Ciara get $1,000 or $2,039?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No. Does she have the cult billion following?
Nope.
That Taylor Swift has? No.
Nope.
So why are they going to push that? And the one that really got me, he goes, Simone Biles, most decorated gymnast in American history.
Yeah.
Yeah, good on her. That's an amazing achievement. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Represented her country in a number of Olympics, won a number of medals. Fantastic.
Yeah. All-time great.
All-time great in the history of Olympic sport. She happens to be married to Jonathan Owens. Who? I mean, that's another thing Travis Kelce has going for him. He was already a known quantity before this.
Yeah.
He's now into the stratosphere at this point, but he was already a known household name in NFL circles.
Yeah.
Who the hell is Jonathan Owens?
Yeah.
He's a strong safety for the Green Bay Packers. Nobody gives a shit about him. And as far as Simone Biles, yeah, it's awesome. She had a wonderful career, but nobody really cares about gymnastics except once every 4 years for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
For 5 minutes, once every 4 years. Other than that, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
She's not selling out stadiums worldwide and having 1 billion people follow her.
Yeah.
You know, and talk about what are your priorities as far as who you follow. You know, maybe she would be a better follower than Taylor Swift, but unfortunately, that's the reality of the world we live in. Taylor Swift gets all the followers, and Simone Biles doesn't. So the NFL's not going to be pushing Simone Biles because that doesn't make them money.
Yeah.
She's not selling jerseys. She doesn't have Bilesies like Swifties following her.
It doesn't sound all that good.
Nobody gives a shit about gymnastics except for 5 minutes every 4 years.
Yeah.
It's just the reality.
It's just the bottom line. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like I said before, though, Steve, and I think you would agree, the problem with the NFL right now is mostly on product. It has absolutely nothing to do with race. You know, the viewership is down. I think the viewership has gone down with the NFL. Taylor Swift is helping in that regard, but it's not addressing the entire problem that the NFL's got. And until the NFL understands that they have to improve their product on the field and grow their fan bases from there, then I think you've got a great cash. You got a great chance to make a ton of money. Not that there aren't rolling in it already.
Well, that's the flaw in this argument. We already talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
Once that relationship is over, the Swiftie fans cut off.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have that anymore.
What's the over-under of that relationship lasting? If it's a year, what's the over-under on that?
I think they take it through the Super Bowl, and then we'll see after.
That'll pretty much
we'll
be
see
it.
after.
Yeah.
But you lose those fans. If you improve the product and grow natural fans, then you have a more reliable income stream. Yeah. All power to them. They're doing it because they know they can get away with it, and it's putting money in their pockets.
Yeah.
But it's only a short-term thing.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
Oh, God. Taylor Swift finally ended him. Steve, are you awake?
That woman is going to be the death of me.
I know. A question, or query. Does the wife enjoy Taylor Swift?
I think she listens to the songs, but she's not a
Swiftie.
What I would say a devotee.
Not a Swiftie.
You know, it's on the radio stations she listens to, but I don't think she's not dying to go to a concert or anything like that. She tolerates the music, but I don't think she's a connoisseur.
If your daughter becomes a Swiftie, I'm sorry, our friendship is going to be over. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, that's bad news because
no.
I mean,
that sounds like a grounding to me, man.
I
Seriously.
know.
That's a total grounding. Sorry, Lily. I don't know what happened to you. She's not that good of an artist.
You used to be cool, man.
You used to be cool, man. All those years Uncle Matt would come over. Oh, well. Now I found out you're a Swiftie. Can't believe it.
I may still be able to keep them from ever smoking, but getting her,
I guess that's more important, right?
Yeah, more important, I guess. But keeping her from liking Taylor Swift was not in the cards, unfortunately.
Oh boy,
nothing I could do about it.
Terrible.
Yeah, but she was on. She had to come to the games this afternoon because my wife was out.
Oh, nice.
She was listening to Nirvana on Spotify, so at least something rubbed off on her.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
So there's a positive to go along with probably the worst negative in her life. There you go. Oh, we kid because we love.
Oh, sort of.
All right. Well,
all right. Water is wet segment.
Yes.
For
the dinosaurs, Steve.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah, dinosaurs.
All right. So Fox 29 article. I don't know what even brought this up. groundbreaking
Well, I brought
theory.
it, so I mean,
I know you brought it. I'm curious what made Fox 29 think this was article worthy.
Nah, I don't know.
Groundbreaking theory emerges about what really killed the dinosaurs. It sounded, from the headline, I was like, "Whoa, this is heavy. This
We're
is
going to
big
sit
time
down
stuff."
for this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Enough with the sit down.
I'm sorry. You should stand up.
We gotta stand up for this one. So I read the headline. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be interesting. They've got something new. Was it an asteroid? What the? All right. So a new study looking into what might have killed off dinosaurs determined it is likely the ancient species were done in by a mighty cloud of dust.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
We already knew that.
Cloud of dust.
We already knew that. A massive plume of fine-grained dust may have lingered in Earth's atmosphere for 15 years, cooled the temperature by 24 degrees, and shut down photosynthesis for 2 years, according to the results of a study published in Natural Geoscience. In a Washington Post report that described the aftermath of the impact of the asteroid as an apocalyptic dust plume.
There you go.
Planetary scientist Semberk Senel explained that the impact of the asteroid led to a chain of events that ultimately caused the demise of the dinosaurs. Duh. Dust could shut down photosynthesis for such a long time that it could pose severe challenges. He told the Washington Post. It could result in a chain reaction of extinction to all species in the food chain. I was already under the impression that when the asteroid hit, it kicked up a bunch of dust and blocked out the sun for a while and killed the dinosaurs that way.
Steve, just so you know.
What am I missing here?
Yeah, Steve, just so you know, water is wet. I just wanted you to know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
You weren't kidding. Oh, God. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how it's a groundbreaking study. Like that. I mean, that has been a long-standing theory for as long as I've been alive. I think that was one of the things that we were first taught when we were in school, in science class. There were dinosaurs. They all died off. This is the reason why they think this happened. It was because of an asteroid hitting the Earth and all the big cloud of smoke and everybody, fine particles of dust and all sorts of other soot and particles leapt into the atmosphere, causing a huge greenhouse gas effect, and it pretty much dissipated and slowed down, and the dinosaurs all died. But it's good to know that they ran a computer simulation in regards to this. That's the most important thing. You can't go wrong with computer simulating things going on there. But yeah, wow. I don't know. I guess my confusion is, how do they think it's groundbreaking?
Yeah. To me, you say it was groundbreaking because, well, it turned out it wasn't an asteroid. There was a super volcano that erupted, and that's what really did it, or you changed the theory somehow. This seems to me, it was the original theory was the asteroid. We all know the asteroid itself didn't incinerate all the dinosaurs, because then everything would have been incinerated and you wouldn't have had any life whatsoever. So the asteroid hit, it kicked up a bunch of dust, and you covered the Earth in dust, and so the food sources all died out, and you lost the dinosaurs that way.
Yeah, and
that's the way it. But the groundbreaking part of it seems to be now, well, it wasn't just any dust. It was a fine particle dust.
If only they had a shark air purifier.
Asteroid! Oh shit! Break out the purifiers!
Quickly! Bring them out there! Yeah.
Oh, we're fine.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Except this one had some hair in it. We gotta.
Yeah, quick! Get rid of that. I don't know.
I mean, we had a segment last week about how scientists are wrong, and I think this is another example of blowing something. I don't know, maybe to geoscientists, this is a huge finding, but don't come to me and say you have a groundbreaking new theory on how the dinosaurs died. If all you're talking about is we went from, it wasn't regular dust, it was tiny dust. And it was for longer.
Don't you see? But don't you see, Steve? The fineness of this dust got inside the lungs of the dinosaurs, all of them. And it all choked them out with a slow, suffocating death, as opposed to quick death.
So would you say it was vaping that killed the dinosaurs?
Well, let's just say the UK Parliament didn't, stop them from actually taking this air in, unfortunately. So,
yeah, they weren't in time.
That might have something to do with it. I'm just saying.
They weren't in time. But you see what my point is, though.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking is it was finer dust and it was a longer period of darkness. Like, you haven't changed a thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, I think, the one thing that was kind of curious about it, because, I mean, I know that you have studied science, particularly in the physics realm, for so many years. Obviously, that was your major in at Temple. Go Owls, by the way. Hell yeah, the men's basketball team. Go Owls. Love it. 2-0 to start the year early.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Is Aaron McKee still the coach?
No, the new guy, Adam Fisher. And he's good. They're running up tempo. It's great.
Nice.
But that's a side note. Yeah. But yeah, I think this was, for me, when I saw it, it was like, oh, Steve might enjoy this. And then as we were talking about in pre-production, you were like, well, this is not new. I kind of knew this was happening. And this is not groundbreaking. The only difference is that it's finer dust than actual dust. So you never know. They may even have another groundbreaking study, Steve, where the dust could be even finer. It could be really, really fine.
It wasn't actually dust. It was little tiny gnomes that got into the lungs. They were in there with the hammer chopping away at the dino lungs, because the dinosaurs were the largest creatures that could inhale those gnomes.
That's right.
The mammals were too small they couldn't fit up the nose of the gnomes with their hammers. The hammers got stuck, so the mammals survived.
If only the air purifiers were only available back then, we could have been riding T-Rexes, but unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Go Honeywell.
Steve,
yeah.
This scoop bagel experiment that I tried to pull apart, it didn't exactly work. As you can see, the remnants of the bagel are all gone now. And it's like, I still will never understand a scoop bagel. Never. Not in my entire life.
It's kind of like the people, I never understood the people who would order a burger, but don't give me the bun. What's the point then?
or if you're asked to have cheese on a hamburger when you clearly said, I want a hamburger. That's all.
Smart people understand that, a hamburger does not have cheese on it.
You want cheese with that?
No. If I wanted cheese with it, I would have ordered a cheeseburger. Dumbass.
Exactly.
Well, so some of you may have noticed another presence here. Well, John's not on the episode, so Matt and I were feeling kind of lonely. We invited a guest.
There you go.
Onto the program.
Oh, it's a voiceover guy. Is it a voiceover guy? Dr.
No,
it's
not. It's not. This is not voiceover guy. This is not him.
Oh.
But we'd like to welcome you to the show, sir. How are you today? Well, not so good. Well, why not? I got crabs. That's a little more information than we really wanted.
A little bit, yeah.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? We don't really need to know about your STIs. What?
Whoa.
What do you mean?
Oh my.
You said you had crabs. I don't like crabs. Well, who does? Some people. What do you mean some people? Well, I wanted lobster. The store was out of it, so I had to settle for crabs. You could have. You know what? Get out of here. We're not dealing with this crap.
Get out.
All right. Topic 4.
Here we go.
Topic 4. Okay, here we go. So apparently people are recasting movies these days. It's a hot thing.
There you
My
go.
son was even doing it with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. So we thought, in the spirit of trying to fit in the internet community, we would give it a shot. We've been doing movie drafts, which I thought were fun, but this is a little bit different.
Halloween episodes, always great. The Christmas one we've done before, that's been great. Yeah,
absolutely. But those have been our own kind of new movie plots. We're just filling in characters with actors to make it work.
Yeah.
This is a little different. This is taking an existing movie with its existing characters and replacing the actors in that movie with other actors.
Wow.
And I really don't know what the purpose of this is, but it's a popular thing going on, so we're going to give it a shot.
It's a great what if. So there you go.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So we have John also has selected a movie. We've each selected a movie. Matt will recast the movie I picked. I will recast the movie Matt picked, and the two of us will recast the movie that John picked.
There you go.
We've chosen 5 characters from each movie just to make it interesting and to drag it out.
There you go.
For fun, because we know people like this stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Well, you're listening to us, so you must like it.
Yeah. What the hell?
So John picked for his movie one that I had. It had slipped my mind existed from 1996. But upon being reminded, I absolutely love this movie. It's called Multiplicity. Starring the great Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
As 4 different characters.
Crazy. Yeah.
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 So if you've never seen this one, he's a contractor who is overworked, too much of a workaholic, decides he needs to be with his family at home, do more family stuff, help around the house. So he finds out about a cloning procedure, and he clones himself. But that's not enough. He's got a clone that does his work, but now he needs a clone to do the housework. So he clones another one. And the clones decide they need help, so they clone one of themselves, which results in another clone who isn't quite all there. And this movie goes about as you would expect. It's not a good thing when you clone yourself to try and fool others.
Note to self, right?
Right.
Oh, man.
Matt has selected.
I selected for you.
For me to fill
The Rock.
Another 1996 classic.
Another great 96, which, by the way, we looked it up in pre-production. 1996 summer movies. Holy cow, there were a ton, and they were all terrific. Absolutely. It's like nowadays, it's like, oh God, the Marvels stink. You got this stinking up the joint, and it's like that. Back in the 90s, in the mid to late 90s, movies were fantastic. Everybody went to go see them, and it was wonderful. Just for all you millennials out there, there are good years of movies. You just have to be patient in order to get there.
I spent half the summer at 96 in movie theaters.
It was crazy. Yeah.
I saw Independence Day 3 times.
Yeah.
I saw
Twister was
4
another
times.
one.
Yeah.
I saw Mission Impossible.
Saw that one.
That was great.
Nutty Professor with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Which I didn't realize came out in 96. I had no idea. But for Steve's movie, The Rock, with Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, Ed Harris. We're going to go through that one with him.
Yeah.
And your movie that you're picking for me is...
So the movie I picked for Matt is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
Which would be Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Oh, love it.
Fantastic film. All right,
great
so
movie.
We'll give you the rundown of we're going to kind of interweave all 3 of these. So we're not doing one movie at a time. We're going to do all 3 at a time.
Yep.
So the characters we are recasting for Multiplicity are Doug, who is the main Michael Keaton.
Okay.
Doug 2, who gives himself the name Lance, apparently, at some point.
There you go.
I had forgotten about that until I looked at something.
Yep.
Doug number 3, who... So Doug number 2 is more of a masculine. He's the macho. He's the guy on the job. He's running crap at the office. Doug 3 is more in touch with his feminine side. Knows how to wrap the meatloaf,
cook it clean, and all that kind of stuff.
Cook and clean. He calls himself Rico. And then we have Doug number 4, who is referred to as Lenny. I think that probably has something to do relating to Mice and Men.
Yeah.
Lenny's not all there. He's about 6 cans short of a 6-pack. And then we have Doug's wife, Laura, who was played by Andie MacDowell.
There you go.
So those are the 5 we will be recasting for Multiplicity.
Nice.
For The Rock, we will be recasting Stanley Goodspeed.
Yeah.
Who was Nicolas Cage's character.
Yeah.
John Mason, who was played by Sean Connery. Ed Harris's character, General Francis X. Hummel.
X. Hummel. Yeah.
Francis X. Hummel. He was the bad guy. He was the bad guy of the movie.
Yeah.
Then we have FBI Director Womack.
Yeah.
Played by John Spencer.
Yes.
Most famous, I think, for what? West Wing?
I think so. Yeah, I think John Spencer
that's right.
was there. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Special Agent in Charge Paxton, played by William Forsythe, who had fantastic mustache in that movie.
There you go.
Very, very nice.
But then you also had a great Sean Connery impression of him. What was it when he was saying with Paxton?
No, wait.
What?
No, not with Paxton.
No.
Womack.
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 Yeah. Oh, Womack was the guy.
I could back in the late 90s, I could quote Sean Connery every line, but the one I whipped out a lot, just because Tony Womack was playing for the Pittsburgh Pirates at the time, was Womack, you piece of shit.
Love it. Oh, Sean Connery, rest in peace. We miss you, brother.
We miss you, man.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah. And then for T2,
all right. So for T2, we are recasting the T800, which is obviously Arnold.
Yep.
We are recasting the T1000, played by Robert Patrick.
Yep.
Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton.
Yep.
One of, by the way,
Rachel Zegler, take note.
You want to talk about female action stars?
Yeah.
James Cameron had probably 2 of the greatest. In Ellen Ripley from Aliens and Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
In Terminator.
Rachel Zegler, please take a look at the history. Please, for the love of God, before you open your mouth and insert your own foot, please. Yeah.
All right. So we're also recasting John Connor, played by Edward Furlong at the time, who's basically nobody now. And then finally, it'll be Miles Dyson. The guy who gets us all in trouble, played by Joe Morton. Fabulous character actor, Joe Morton. Yeah. Loved him in a lot of things he's done.
Yeah.
Very good. He was most recently, I've seen him in the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize
played the dad of Cyborg.
I would have never guessed that. That's unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, I remember seeing that, and I was like, he looked a little familiar, but I didn't piece it together that he was in T2. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was about 30 years between T2 and
Justice, exactly.
So he's aged a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Just a teensy little bit. That's right. Yeah.
All right. So why don't we start walking through this? I'm going to go sort of reverse order of, I'd say, not importance, but, we're going to recast Arnold last.
Yeah,
T2,
that'll work.
Right? So,
that'll work. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to start with Multiplicity. And we're going to do Doug's wife, Laura. Originally by Andie MacDowell, but we have to replace her with somebody new.
My first thought would be Michelle Pfeiffer. That's one thought.
I have no problem with that whatsoever.
You have no problem? Okay.
No problem with that.
Okay.
By the way, for Multiplicity, because 4 of the characters we're recasting were all played by Michael Keaton. And it would not be very interesting if we just recast one person to do all 4. I'm envisioning this more as like an animated movie.
Yeah, that's fine.
And so each of the Doug clones can be played by a different person.
Be different, yeah.
Right. So,
yep.
But I'm totally on board with Michelle Pfeiffer. That's fine.
That'll work.
As Laura.
That'll work. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So moving on to The Rock. We're going to start with Special Agent Paxton. Now,
played by William Forsythe.
Played by William Forsythe. He's a bit of a hard ass.
Okay.
But he lets Sean Connery go at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's a decent human being.
Yeah.
Even if he's a
little rough around the edges.
A little rough around the edges.
What are you thinking?
It's kind of tough. because
rougher on the edges, tough guy.
yeah,
Has some grit to him, probably a little bit. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point. He's also got to be on the younger side. You know, like Womack's going to be older because he has to have been younger when Sean Connery escaped from Alcatraz. I mean, that's the point of the movie. If you haven't seen it, there's a hostage situation on Alcatraz. Sean Connery's character had been the one person who ever broke out of Alcatraz, and they needed him to help them break back in to retake Alcatraz from the terrorists.
Yeah, exactly.
If that makes your head spin a little bit, it's fine.
Great movie, by the way.
Great movie. Fantastic. All right, so we need somebody with an attitude, but who isn't going to let that overtake them here. And I'm going to say, God, this one's really hard. It's going to be easier as we go up the ladder.
Oh yeah,
I would think,
but it definitely will. Yeah. I mean,
feel free to make a suggestion.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think here for a minute. If we're talking now,
I think we have to go now.
Yeah.
I don't know the point of this game. Haven't followed it that well. When my son was recasting Five Nights at Freddy's, it was all now, but he's 14. He doesn't know.
Would Robert Downey Jr. work in that role, do you think? Because I'm thinking of him in Iron Man. But he was more sarcastic in that movie. And I'm not sure that really Womack was really sarcastic.
No, not Womack, Paxton.
Paxton, sorry.
No, he was certainly not sorry. He was kind of a serious guy.
Okay.
He's very serious for most of the movie until he kind of shows his human side at the end.
All right. Chris Evans played Captain America.
You are pulling from Marvel.
I know I'm pulling Marvel hard. I know. But I'm grasping at straws here, too, just so you know.
Yeah.
And Captain America can be a bit of a hard ass, just so you know. And he was very, kind of not necessarily in your face, but determined, and that kind of a deal. And Chris Evans has shown that he can play that. That kind of a role.
No, you know what? It's probably just recency, but I'm gonna put Idris Elba in this role.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I think he plays a really good hard ass, but he can be human when push comes to shove.
Kind of moldable and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, has like a softness to it. Okay, that's good.
I think that would work well.
Nice.
All right. Now we're gonna go to Miles Dyson, the creator of Skynet.
So I have a couple of suggestions for you, sir.
Okay.
One of them is Denzel Washington. The other is Will Smith.
You serious right now?
No, probably not Will Smith. But immediately for me, Denzel Washington, because he's played the heroic hero before, particularly in The Equalizer. The Equalizer is a tremendous set of 3 sets of movies. That's a great action adventure movie. Or a series, I should say. And I think Denzel would fit that role perfectly.
Well, he's not Dyson. I mean, I guess
he is. He's a supporting character, and it's Denzel, and you're bringing him in. It's like, okay, he's done. Yeah. But I couldn't think of.
You know what? I like it.
You can put him in there.
Denzel's a fabulous actor.
Yeah. He would elevate that character up huge, but
I mean, Joe Morton did great with it, but Denzel, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I mean, you can pull him off. He's like smart, right on the top. He's like, he's sorry that he did it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So my nomination.
All right.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
There you go.
We'll go Denzel. Fantastic.
All right. Back to multiplicity.
Multiplicity. All right. We're gonna cast Main Doug.
Oh, okay.
So the main guy. So he's an overworked. He's one of those guys. He wants to give attention to his family.
He's overworked. Okay, so my first thought was not going to be a good idea. I'll save him for later.
All right.
But he's overworked and stressed out, right?
So stressed out. He can't leave his job alone. Like even if he wants to, he can't like put the phone down.
Joe Pesci. Come on.
I will allow it. Only because we decided we're going animated on this.
Exactly.
Because otherwise I would say he's too old.
Yeah, he's too right.
But because it would be voice work.
30 years.
We'll rewind the clock 30 years and it's animated.
It's animated.
It's voice work. I will allow it.
There you go. Love it. Okay.
Good. All right, let's see.
That's funny.
Okay, we're going to go FBI Director Womack.
Ooh. John Spencer.
John Spencer. Total asshole.
Oh, gosh.
Slimy.
Yeah.
He was slimy, ripping up deals signed by the Attorney General. I mean, he was not a good guy. And he's got to be older because he has to be he has to have been around at the time when the John Mason broke out of Alcatraz.
Yeah. Okay.
I am going to go with, and John sort of influenced this by what he was talking about in pre-production. I will go with Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's really good. That is really, really good. He fits that role perfectly.
So I'm sorry, Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Sir
Anthony
yes,
Hopkins.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that would be a fantastic addition.
I totally agree. Totally agree with that selection. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, and he can play anything.
Yeah.
And if you've ever seen Zorro.
Oh my gosh, The Legend of Zorro?
The Legend of Zorro.
Oh.
He was outstanding in that movie.
Yes. Yes. He was just a fantastic. That whole story was great too. Just such a great.
That was a fun movie.
From start to finish. Yeah, it was such a great movie. That was one of my sister's favorites. Yeah.
Now, obviously, Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter is the
quintessential.
The quintessential. But for fun, he was in Zorro.
Yeah, he was definitely in that. Awesome. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to, we're going to recast John Connor now. So you got a little bit of a challenge because you're looking at a child.
Not necessarily.
Ooh. All right.
Not necessarily. So shout out to my buddy John out there. Johnny, your boy, Macaulay Culkin. I'm throwing him in.
Oh, we're rewinding the clock. Okay.
We're throwing him in as John Connor in 1992. So we're going to put him in there.
Terminator 2 is one of the greatest films of all time.
Yes, I know. Yes.
And I know the thought of recasting it in any way is blasphemy.
It's sacrilege. Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Replacing Joe Morton with Denzel is one of the few things you probably could have done to.
It'll get better.
You have just knocked it down.
Not necessarily. Could you imagine if Macaulay Culkin is asking Arnold, because you can't kill somebody. You can't.
Why?
Because I told you not to.
Why?
I told you. You just can't. Okay.
You shot that guy. You'll live. All right. Yeah. Back to multiplicity. We are at Doug clone number 2, Lance, the macho work guy who goes to the office and runs shit for the contracting business.
Macho guy, right?
Macho. Yeah. Thinks he's God's gift to the ladies, that kind of deal.
Ladies' man. Brash.
Suave, yeah.
Suave.
Yeah.
Leo DiCaprio, maybe?
He might be a little too polished.
Okay. Tom Cruise.
No.
Okay. No. Yeah, before he went insane.
Well, that was
before he went insane.
96, right? I'm thinking more along the lines of somebody like How about Jason Lee?
Okay. I could go with that. I could totally go with that. Yeah.
Because he's still got to be comedic. He's got to be comedic. He's got some comedy to him, but he's also... And I feel like Jason Lee does project. You're from what was that show, My Cousin Earl or whatever it was?
I think it is.
I think he projects a kind of ruggedness that would be in his character.
I love it.
So.
I love it.
Yeah.
All
right. No. Going to The Rock. We're recasting General Francis X. Hummel.
Oh, Ed Harris' character. Oh, so
conflicted guy.
Very much so.
He doesn't really want to be doing what he's doing, but he does.
But he has to do it because he was wronged by the U.S. government, and he has to right a wrong in his mind. So he's got a little insanity in him, a little bit there, just a little bit.
I mean, it tones at the end, but
very much so. Yep. And he was somewhat older in that movie, I guess.
Well, he was at that point.
Was he in his 40s back then?
He might have been a little older than that. You have to remember. So this was 96. He was supposed to have been a general in Vietnam.
He's 72 now.
Okay, so he would have been 40s.
That would have been in his mid-40s, yeah.
So, well, he might have been playing older then, because I guess...
Yeah.
To be a general in Vietnam?
Yeah. You're talking...
You have to be older than 22 or 23.
No question about that, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no question about that.
All right, so you got somebody middle-aged, I guess.
Middle-aged, kind of, okay.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go with Hugh Jackman.
For those that are listening out there, he meant to say Hugh Jackman.
It's funny to say it as Hugh Jackman. Yeah. There's one of the Night of the Museum movies.
Yeah.
With Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
This guy runs to a stage, and Hugh Jackman and I forget the other woman's name were on stage, and he was actually playing himself.
Nice.
And he said, "Well, I'm Hugh Jackman." And the guy goes, "Hugh Jackman? What kind of name is that?" So I just it's fun to say. I love him as an actor. I think he's good, and I think he would play this role really well
and do it very well. Good.
He would do a very good job with it.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
All right. Okay, now we are going to recast from T2 the huge role of Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Very important.
Very important role.
Got to get this right.
The only thing that came to my mind immediately was Sigourney Weaver, and I mean that sincerely, because you're talking about a tough woman, and the weight of the world is on her. That kind of a deal. Thinking about that story, saving her son from all of the from the apocalypse. Who better back then than Sigourney Weaver? I think that would have been choice number 2. If Linda Hamilton wasn't available,
right?
So I'm thinking Sigourney.
Okay, you're inching it back up now to its huge status.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll live with
that. Would be my selection there. I think that to me was that was the first thing that came to my mind. It was just like, you know what, that would work. There's no other. I could not think of any other female lead actress out there right now that would be able to pull off that kind of a role. Other than
Sarah Connor.
Yeah, legend for legend, basically.
Yeah, we can do that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, back to multiplicity. We are at Doug clone number 3, Rico.
So is this the...
This is the homemaker.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm actually thinking Robert Downey Jr. for this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he could make the mannerisms
kind of work
for that character. Yes. I'm thinking that would be a really good casting right there.
See, my mind, whenever I hear Robert Downey, unfortunately, my mind goes back to the Marvel movies and Iron Man, but he's much more than just that, and that kind of a deal. So I couldn't disagree with you on that. I think it's a great selection.
Tropic Thunder.
Heck yeah. There you go. Yeah.
All right. I think we're going to do, from The Rock, we'll do Stanley Goodspeed this time. Because I want to save Sean Connery for last.
So you got a nerdy guy, right? Not physically gifted.
Right.
Not physically gifted, but also knows that he has to fire open that flare to get them to stop dropping the bombs in Alcatraz, and the whole
He's got to act like a tough guy. He's taking on a bunch of psychopathic Marines.
Oh yeah.
So he's got to be he's nerdy, but he's got to have some faux toughness to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a
I mean, Nick Cage played him perfectly.
That's
one of his best roles of all time.
I don't think you could put Steve Buscemi in there. No, in that kind of a role.
No.
See, what makes Nicolas Cage good is that he's an everyman's role. Like you believed who the Stanley Goodspeed was because he's portrayed in that movie as a genuine family man. Had a wife and a son, right? I think if I'm mistaken, or if I'm correct on that. Mm-hmm. So you need to find somebody that has that kind of a quality. And I don't think you could go like any of the hot actors. I don't think you even put a Tom Cruise in there. That's as a suggestion, that kind of a deal. No. That's the kind of thing we would have to avoid in order to put him in.
I got a good one.
Okay.
Unfortunately I can't remember his name. Tom Hiddleston.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Dead on.
Okay.
Tom Hiddleston.
Okay.
He could do it.
Okay. That'll work.
That's the guy who plays Loki, right?
I think so, yes.
Okay. All right. So as long as we're talking about that's the guy, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, good.
That'll work.
It has been decreed. All right. Now you have a tough job here.
Yeah.
We're recasting the T-1000.
Yeah, and this
liquid metal.
Need somebody athletic. My first instinct was Kevin Bacon, but I don't think that would work.
No, I'm vetoing that right now.
You're vetoing that right now. Okay.
I'm vetoing Kevin Bacon.
You're vetoing Kevin Bacon.
I got nothing against Kevin Bacon, but he's not a T-1000.
That was my first one because I wanted to make it comedic and make you laugh, which I'm glad I was able to do that tonight.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
But okay, so we need somebody who has athletic, ruthless, plays a great villain. So I can't go. Jack's too old. That shit-eating green. He has that shit-eating green.
Yeah, but he was too old now, and he would have been too old.
Too old back then.
Yeah.
So that's out.
Yeah. By the way, having the T-1000 in Wayne's World was fantastic. Comedic genius.
There you go. I'm trying to even think. Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, something that's not coming to my mind. You know what? Would Ed Harris pull it off?
No.
You don't think Ed Harris would pull it off?
No, I don't.
Back then.
I don't see it. I'm not feeling Ed Harris.
Maybe it's just how good that Robert Harris is good at this character.
Robert Patrick, yeah.
Robert Patrick, sorry.
Robert Patrick, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. He actually was a main character on the X-Files the last 2 seasons. Oh, back in the 90s. I don't count.
Back in the 90s.
Yeah, back in the 90s. I don't count the new stuff.
Yeah. I'm true grasping at straws now that Kevin Bacon was taken out. Unbelievable.
Kevin Bacon would not know. And again, it's nothing against Kevin Bacon. He does some good stuff.
No,
he does well, but you gotta have it's got to be somebody who can be just kind of
very stoic. Yeah,
very stoic, but athletic enough to pull off
to run.
To do the running and all that kind of stuff because he's very physical. And you got to be able to, it's not going to be Arnold, but you got to be able to wrestle with the T-800.
With the T-800.
Yeah. And make it look like you're evenly matched strength-wise.
Yeah, exactly. And so just again, as you were talking, I was like, well, could Tom Cruise do it? Nope, can't do that. He wouldn't fit.
Too short.
He wouldn't fit. Yeah, too short. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anybody that's out there.
Well, you've been going back to the 90s, so I'm trying to think of any like 90s actors that could.
Who's the guy in Twister?
Bill Paxton?
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton. No.
No. Okay.
No. Game over, man. Game over.
Game over, man. Game over.
Wow, this is really hard.
This is really, really hard. Sean Bean. Sean Bean might be able to pull it off.
I will allow it.
He gets killed in the movie. So that qualifies. Sean Bean would get qualified for that.
So already qualifies him. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
He would have an epic death.
Yes.
Check off. In that regard. Sean Bean. I'm going to put him in there.
Yeah. It works. I like it.
Very good. There you go.
All right. Last round here. We're going back to multiplicity. We are recasting Doug clone number 4, Lenny. And
Steve Buscemi.
I was just going to say, if there was ever a time to bring back Steve Buscemi, now would be the time.
Now would be the time.
We shall do so.
Let's do it. All
right. Okay, so now we're recasting Sean Connery's role from The Rock.
Bring it. What do you got?
And this one was easy for me because I want to hear the whole losers always whine about their best speech.
Yeah.
From Morgan Freeman.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, you know that would
on
be
that
perfect.
Alone, I'll grant you that point. I don't know how he would be the one to get out of Alcatraz prison though. But on that basis alone, on that speech alone, checks the box.
Absolutely.
Grant you that point. Yes.
Absolutely.
I will grant you that
and
point.
If you're rewinding the clock, we're getting Morgan Freeman from the 90s now, okay? So
yeah.
He's not old timey.
No.
Morgan Freeman. He's 96. Well, when did he do Shawshank Redemption?
Oh gosh.
That
was
94?
late 90s, I think. Wasn't it?
I didn't think it was that late.
Let's check it out here.
I think it was, I want to say 94.
Yes. You were correct.
Aha. All right. So there you go. So you're getting you're getting Shawshank Redemption-ish Morgan Freeman.
Okay. I'll grant you that.
And I think he's old enough to be believable that he was a young man when he escaped Alcatraz.
There you go.
But to give the losers always whine about their speech, losers always whine about their best speech.
There you go.
Morgan Freeman
is in. Yeah,
because
I'll grant you that.
You got to do it. If you can't do it with Sean Connery, you got to do it with Morgan Freeman.
You're just going to find the rock and you're going to throw this in and you're going to watch that movie again just for that speech, aren't you?
Losers always whine about their best. I'm not going to complete it in case there's kids watching.
Oh, that's fantastic. All
right. So this is the moment. We are recasting the T-800.
Tall order.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone.
Arnold would be pissed about it. But,
Arnold would be pissed, but
you know what?
Anybody that could pull it off
as a tank, absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe you could have gone Dolph Lundgren, but
probably, yeah.
But Sylvester Stallone, big dude,
going up against Sean Bean in Terminator 2.
Sylvester Stallone, Sean Bean in Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Oh my God.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Oh my gosh.
And Denzel is Miles Dyson. That's holy crap. Wow.
I think that might have been a miss on my part. I don't know. I am really glad that James Cameron had a great casting director on that movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Oh my gosh.
Terminator 2 might be one of the few movies that you mess up by recasting rather than fixing.
Yeah. There's some comedic elements to it because I love it. I love making people laugh, of course. But it's just fun. Like, I mean, come on. It's like, I couldn't think of any other action buff guy other than Sly. And Sly could pull it off. He could.
Yeah, probably.
In that regard. So.
How about OJ?
As Miles Dyson, sure, why not?
I'm not going to go into the whole, he was the original choice for the Terminator,
Really? I didn't realize that.
Oh my God, you never heard that story?
I never heard that story. Wow.
There are some who say that's not actually true, but it's at least one person has confirmed it.
That's wild.
And I think it's even in like the DVD booklet
from my gosh.
version of it.
Wow.
He was the original choice for the Terminator, but they decided not to go with him because they didn't see him as a killer.
That awkward pause you just said.
That awkward pause brought to you by W Energy Drink.
Visit www.w.gg.
Yeah. So now that we have rewritten history, we are ending episode 163 of Two Noobs Talking. We hope you've enjoyed our butchering of the Terminator 2 cast. We hope in some respects we've made it better. I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
But yeah, so hopefully next week. I don't know if John's supposed to be back next week or if he's going to be out another one. But
well, if he goes to an underground bunker in Canada, I would say probably not. But if he's back in Texas, hell yeah. So there you go.
All right. Well, hopefully he will be back and take some of the pressure off of the two of us.
Yeah, seriously, John. Come on.
This was hard.
Yeah. A lot of heavy lifting over here.
Absolutely. Scoot bagels and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Again. So is there anything you want to say before we get the heck out of here, Matt?
Go Eagles. Go Flyers, too.
Yeah, go Flyers. Go
there you
Flyers.
go.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Anything you want to say before we get out of here? No, just watch out for them crabs. Crabs are, they taste good sometimes. I don't know. Get out of here. Why are you still here? End the episode. Stop tape.
Hey everyone, thank you for spending time with us here at Two Noobs Talking. If you want more episodes of Two Noobs, our entire catalog of our podcasts are available here on our YouTube channel, or you could search for us out on your favorite podcast listening platforms such as Apple, Google, and Samsung Podcasts, along with YouTube Music and iHeartRadio, among others. Hey, while you're there, would you mind leaving us with a 5-star review? Have a great week, and we'll see you again next week with another great episode of Two Noobs Talking. Take care.